We're going to start with peanut butter.
Start with peanut butter.
I wonder if it's going to be a peanut butter cup, or is it? Oh no, because it's not chocolate.
No,
It's just
Peanut butter. Subtle. Which I like.
definitely.
Oh, it's good aftertaste though.
It doesn't have a...
I feel like the aftertaste is better than the initial.
It tastes like peanuts.
It does taste like peanuts. It's interesting because it doesn't have that plant... You know how plant proteins have that aftertaste? It's like... I don't know. It's
No,
not
sure, it's plant protein.
Yeah.
It's not as varied as like other plant proteins as
Yeah.
well.
I really like that. Because it's subtle when you first drink it, but then it's got a real nice aftertaste.
Chocolate?
That was thick.
It's good texture, man.
I feel like peanut butter.
Yeah, same. It's
Subtle.
nice.
Subtle again though, with the flavour.
But the peanut butter's a bit smoother.
Alright, okie dokie. It's very smooth. It's like even like just pouring it. Look at that. That's just with water as well. It's great.
You know what? I think if we had this one first,
Yeah.
I think the peanut butter and stuff's definitely stronger, so it's overpowering it almost.
That's good though, man. Like that's a nice flavour. That's going to be a good like base flavour to like use in like cooking.
Yeah,
Or
very
smoothie.
easy to drink.
Or sludge. Not easily. I'm not even at all impressed with plant proteins generally, but that's a good plant protein. So I've got this idea for this video. I reckon because it's a plant protein, I reckon in every scene I should have a plant. I have like a pot plant.
Did
or
you
like
have
an
it?
actual
Did you?
plant. No, that's what I'm going to do
Oh.
for this video. Every scene there'll be
Have you not shot this video yet?
No,
Oh.
I'm about to.
Oh. What were you doing
That's
before?
what cows reckon.
So one of the things Nexus are known for is taking a supplement product category and adding a little sprinkle of innovation to it. They've just dived into the plant protein category. Their first product, appropriately named Nexus Plant Protein. We're about to take a deep dive in this raw review. It is a protein powder, of course, so let's take a closer look at the macros. In every flavor, 1 scoop is 35 grams, which is a heaping scoop. Now the macros do vary across all 3 of the flavors, so we're gonna have to look at them one by one. We're gonna start with the classic chocolate flavor. We're dealing with 127 calories in each heaped 35 gram scoop. And then in terms of the macros, we're looking at about 2.5 grams of fat, we're looking at about 3 grams of carbs, and we're looking at 23 grams of protein. So high protein, I'm gonna say quite low in carbs and fats. In terms of how those percentages break out, it's about 66% protein by weight. The fat we're looking at about 7% by weight, and the carbs we're looking at just under 9% per weight. That is the chocolate flavor. We then move on to the peanut butter, and it does change quite significantly with this flavor. We're talking higher calories, so 137.5 calories in a 35 gram scoop. We're talking about 3.2 grams of fat, we're talking about 7.2 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of protein. So it's a little bit lower in protein, higher in fat, higher in carbs. In terms of those percentages, we're looking at 57% protein by weight, about 9% fat by weight, and about 20% carbohydrate per weight for the peanut butter flavor. And then finally, the Hokey Pokey flavor, which is a vanilla honeycomb flavor. We're talking the lowest calories, so 115 calories per 35 gram scoop. We've got 1.8 grams of fat, we've got 3 grams of carbohydrates, and 22 grams of protein. So we're talking about 72.5% protein by weight. We're talking about 6% fat by weight and about 10% carbohydrates by weight. So across the board, we're dealing with a high protein, I would say probably moderate carb, depending on the flavor that you choose, and across all of them, quite low fat, plant-based protein powder. Now, in terms of where these plant protein sources are coming from, Nexus have chosen 2 plant protein sources. On one hand, we've got pea protein. On the other hand, we've got the unique faba bean protein. So it's a splice of those 2 plant protein sources. We've then got some coconut milk powder in here. Importantly, naturally flavored, completely naturally flavored, and completely naturally sweetened as well. We do have some guar gum in the Nexus plant protein to add a little bit of thickness to the texture. And then Nexus have gone and added a probiotic, lactospore probiotic to be exact, to help with some additional gut health and digestion. We've got 3 flavors to choose from in the Nexus plant protein. We've got a classic chocolate flavor, we've got a peanut butter flavor, and we've got a hokey pokey flavor, which is inspired by vanilla ice cream and honeycomb. And we're gonna find out how that tastes in a second, because I have a little personal bag down here. We're gonna see how it mixes and how it tastes. First thing to note is a serve is a heaping scoop, and we're talking about a significantly heaping scoop, because the texture of the powder, it's quite a floury texture. When you open the bag and have a look inside, it kind of looks like flour, which means it's not going to be particularly dense. So when Nexus say a heaping scoop 35 grams, they're talking about even more than that. They're talking about something that looks like that. So make sure you're using a heaping scoop. This is, of course, the hokey pokey flavor. This is my personal bag right here. So we're gonna take one of those heaping scoops, 35 grams. We're gonna throw it in our plant-inspired green MJ shaker with about 200 mils, it's a little bit more, 225 mils of water, as per the instructions. Give a few flicks of the wrist. All right, here we go. Nexus plant protein, oh my goodness. That is an incredible, look at that, look at that. That is an incredible texture for any protein, let alone a plant protein. It mixes incredibly well, and it really has almost like a cream. Obviously it's not cream, but it almost has like a creamy texture to it. Refresh my memory on how the hokey pokey flavor tastes. Nexus have done such a good job with this protein powder. Aside from the fact that it is a plant protein, let's just kind of put that to the side for a second. The mouthfeel, the texture, the flavors, the lack of aftertaste I'd put it right up there with some of the best tasting proteins, regardless of plant or non-plant or any source of protein that we have seen thus far. It really is just an absolute treat to drink. The chocolate flavor, I kind of describe as like a bit of a choc malt type flavor. It's definitely not like a dairy milk chocolate or a rich chocolate. It's more like a chocolate malt type flavor. The peanut butter flavor really is a true to peanut, like it really tastes like peanut butter. Probably a little bit less salty than actual peanut butter, but it really is like a true peanut butter flavor. And then of course the hokey pokey flavor, the one I'm working on right here. They've done a really good job. It tastes like vanilla ice cream with just a little dash of honeycomb in there. It really is really, really good. I think across the board, look, I'm gonna put this up there with, definitely goes up there with some of the best plant-based proteins I've ever tried. I would even probably put this flavor, the hokey pokey flavor, up in the mix with probably like top 10 proteins I've tried, regardless of whether they're plant, whey, it doesn't matter. It's an exceptional flavor. In terms of versatility, it's a plant-based protein, so the expectation is that it's going to be pretty versatile, and Nexus plant protein does not disappoint. It sludges exceptionally well. It almost has like a bit of a like a cake. It's a cake batter consistency. I want to lick the cake batter straight off that spoon right there. Real cake batter consistency when it comes to sludge. You can take that sludge, you can cook it. It cooks really well, making protein pancakes, protein donuts, protein muffins. It's one of the unique things about plant-based proteins is they do cook exceptionally well. And then even in like oats, making high protein oats, high protein creamy rice, it does that very well. Also, you just need to be conscious of adding a little bit more liquid than you normally would if you were making it with like a high protein oats with a whey protein or a high protein creamy rice with a whey protein, because the plant protein is gonna soak up a lot more moisture than a whey is. So just add a little bit more liquid. It's gonna make awesome protein oats, awesome high protein creamy rice, protein pancakes, muffins, donuts, you name it, the Nexus plant protein will do it, and it will do it well. So what does Nexus plant protein compare to? On one hand, we're gonna see how it stacks up against the Australian-made Switch plant protein. On the other hand, we're gonna see how it ranks against the American-made Ghost Vegan. We'll start with Switch Protein. Switch Protein is slightly better value for money. It's more serves per tub, it's a little bit more expensive per tub, but the price per serve is a little bit less than the Nexus Plant Protein. When it comes to the macros, Nexus Plant Protein is slightly better than Switch. It's the same amount of protein across the board, but Nexus Plant Protein has less carbs and less fat, except for the peanut butter flavor. Those macros are a little strange, as we went through earlier on, but across the board, the Nexus Plant Protein macros are slightly better. When it comes to the source of protein, Nexus use obviously pea and fiber bean protein, whereas Switch use a bigger range of plant-based protein. So there's some algae protein in there, there's some watermelon protein in there as well. When it comes to versatility, both are incredibly versatile. They'll cook, they'll sludge, they'll make high protein oats. You can do whatever you want with them. When it comes to texture, the textures are quite comparable. I personally prefer the creaminess and the smoothness of the Nexus Plant Protein. And for me as well, the Nexus flavors are slightly better than the Switch flavors. Although Switch does have one more flavor, and importantly, it has a pure vanilla flavor. And then finally, when it comes to added bits and pieces, Switch Protein does actually have digestive enzymes added as digozyme added to the protein, whereas Nexus doesn't have that, but Nexus does have the lactospore probiotic in there. Flipping over to the other side of the world and seeing how Nexus Plant compares to Ghost Vegan, they're about the same price. So Ghost is more expensive per tub, but it does have 8 more serves in there. So the price per serve is very, very comparable. The macros across the two products are also comparable. Nexus does win out on every flavor except for the peanut butter. It has a little bit more protein and a little bit less carbs, and the fat across both products is comparable. In terms of where the protein is coming from, Ghost does use more plant protein sources. So it's got a little bit of pumpkin protein in there. It's got watermelon seed protein in there, and Nexus has the pea and fiber bean blends. Now, importantly, when it comes to the versatility, the flavors, the taste, the texture, both of these are exceptional plant proteins. For me, I'm gonna say that I still prefer the texture of Nexus Plant. It's just that little bit more creamier, it's that little bit smoother. Ghost still has a little bit of that kind of planty sandiness to it. The flavors across both products are incredible, and Ghost does many more flavors than Nexus. I think they're up to 6 flavors in Ghost Vegan now, and they have flavors kind of come in and out, and the collab flavors, and they do a really good job with their flavors across Ghost Vegan. That being said, that Nexus Hokey Pokey is one of the best plant protein flavors I've ever tried. For me personally, both are incredibly versatile as well. And then when it comes to the added bits and pieces, interestingly, Ghost Vegan is not naturally sweetened. So Ghost use sucralose. They use an artificial sweetener to sweeten their Ghost Vegan, whereas Nexus is completely naturally flavored, completely naturally sweetened. It's got the lactospore in there as well. Ghost doesn't have any added prebiotics, probiotics, or digestive enzymes. So Nexus wins out on the naturally sweetened, naturally flavored, and the added probiotics as well. In terms of the effects, look, it's a protein powder, so it's gonna help increase your daily protein intake. If you combine that increase in daily protein intake with an exercise regime that's tailored to stimulating muscle growth, it's gonna help you recover from those workouts faster, and it's gonna help you build muscle. In terms of the side effects, there's really nothing to report. There's no digestive issues, there's no intolerance issues. It's pretty much side effect free. And then in terms of who it's best for, it's gonna be best for anybody who's looking for a protein powder that's lactose free, that's dairy free, that's plant-based diet compliant, that's extremely versatile, and you can do all sorts of things aside from just drink your protein with. It really is an incredibly versatile protein powder. And finally, in terms of price and value for money, it's a 20 serve bag, and we're looking at $59.95 for the 20 serves. So it breaks out at just under $3 per serve. I think it's a fair price for a super high quality, delicious, incredible texture, and incredibly versatile plant-based protein. And for you guys, especially if you use the code PLANT at mjfitness.au, you will save 10% off your first purchase of Nexus plant protein. If you're looking to give this plant protein a try, there's no better time than right now. Guys, that is MJ's raw review on the all new Nexus plant protein, and I'm coming to you from mjfitness.au. Live fit. Plant.